Hi everyone, my name is Navish and I'm the host for Leaders Lens for our new series Interviews. For our fifth episode, we have Faria Khandaker. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Faria here is finishing her Master of Information degree, specializing specifically in information systems design and data science. She's currently an intern with the Faculty of Information at U of T. Before we begin, Faria, do you want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your professional goals following the completion of your degree?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Faria, um, and I just completed my master's program at the Faculty of Information. So my master's degree is a Master of Information. Basically, I wanted to do this program as a step into the tech world. I did my undergraduate degree in human biology and anthropology, and towards the end of my degree, I kind of realized that tech is interesting, but because I was already at the end, I didn't want to extend my graduation
Yeah.
too long, and I didn't want to do another undergraduate degree. But then for me, I didn't really want to be a software engineer or a software developer. And since high school, I was always kind of interested in business. So when I saw the Faculty of Information and specifically the Information Systems and Design program,
Mm-hmm.
um, for me, it was like a connection between the business world and the tech world. So we're in this program, we learn about the different information systems that businesses use to basically run their processes and how we can make business processes more efficient. And so that's
Yeah.
what my program was.
Okay, that sounds okay. Um, so how did you find out about this opportunity to be within the Faculty of Information at U of T? Did you use any school resources?
So like in terms of my internship,
Yeah.
um, basically it was really through networking that I found out about this internship. So the project that I was doing while I was a student was with IBM Canada, and it was a mixture of data science and information systems, and so that I found that really interesting. And the way I came across this was like one day I was talking to one of my professors, and I was telling him that I wish I could get some experience in these kinds of fields. And this was a professor that I would go to his office hours, and I would ask questions in class. I managed to build a good rapport with him, and so the project that I'm involved in, he's actually one of the like supervisors. He's my main supervisor. So when this opportunity came up and he needed a research assistant, because he knew I was interested, he asked if I wanted to join before actually publicly posting this job. And so that's how I found out about it. And since I said I was interested, I got the position.
Okay, that sounds really cool. So what at U of T really stands out to you, like at your internship?
So with this internship, like it's very hands-on, and I I really credit, like, if I learned a lot in this internship that I don't think was really covered in a lot of my courses. So since it was very hands-on, it was me learning at my own pace, but with the guidance of like the professors and the other PhD students in the team.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to learn something theoretically in class, and then in my internship being able to apply it, that was really cool to see. And it was also cool to see how sometimes theoretically some things might make sense, but in the real world, that's not what always happens. Like there's always some sort of hiccup along the way that you don't expect. And so having an internship along with your education, like it really formed, like for me, it formed like a holistic kind of master's
Mm,
experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good. So you got it through your professor. So was there like a normal application process? Was there an application process at all?
Yeah. So basically, in terms of an application process, because he wasn't the only supervisor. It's a team of people.
Mm.
So there was another professor that was involved who I didn't really know that well, but because my professor, he knew me. He asked me for my resume. He handed it to the other professor, saying that this student could potentially be a good intern. And so I had like a little mini interview session where the professor asked me the other professor asked me basic questions about like what are my skills, what are my strengths, what improvements can I make, what do I hope to achieve from this internship, and so like a lot of really of the like the basic questions, and but that was about it. There wasn't like I know a lot of internships they have like 3 4 stage interviews, but for me it was just
Yeah.
like because because the application I guess came from someone internal, it wasn't as rigorous. The application process wasn't as rigorous as a lot of people might find other ones.
Mhm. Yeah, that's actually very lucky, actually, because that
Yeah,
just
no,
makes the whole
networking.
process easier.
Yeah, no, networking is something that I am not good at. Like in undergrad, every single like leadership development type of
Hmm.
conference that I went to, everyone was like, "Oh, networking, the hidden job market." But like for me, I always found networking to be kind of like fake because I'm like, I'm only talking to you because I want a job, but that's not how networking works at all. Um, the way it really works is you happen to you meet someone and you are truly like interested in what they're doing, and over time slowly it might happen that there's a position that's available, or like they know somebody that's hiring and you're also available, like you're also seeking a job, and so that connection is made. It's not it's less about what you it's less short term. That's what I found, that networking isn't just like I'm looking for a job now, I need to network. It's something that happens over time, and so like that's something that I learned from this experience.
Okay. So you
Yeah,
so you did attend virtual networking events?
I attended it in my undergrad, not virtual, they were in person at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um, so do you think extracurricular activities are those vital when trying to secure an internship?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. A lot of the like there's there's two things that people really look out for. One of them is how well do you perform, and the other one is how well do they get along with you. Like a person who, when they're interviewing you, if they like you, they're more likely, well, if they like you and if they feel like you guys are similar or you have a
Hmm.
connection or are able to relate, they're more likely to hire you or like be biased towards selecting you when there's like a pool of applicants.
Yeah.
So when you do extracurriculars, you help not only to build your like interpersonal skills, your people skills, but you also have like experiences that you can bond with people over. And so like yes, it's important to have good grades. It's important to have solid skills. Like if you're a programmer, you should know how to code. Like that's very important. The knowledge part
Yeah.
is important, but it's not the end of it. You can be like you can learn coding within as you practice, but it's hard to it's hard to like know how to kind of function in a room, or like how to say certain things or be with certain people if you can't learn that. Basically, like, there's no study book that tells you people skills. It's something that you have to experience and develop over time, and I think that's what extracurricular activities did for me, at least.
That's actually very useful. Um, what do your day-to-day tasks look like?
So at the internship, because it was remote and because it was mostly research based, um, a lot of it was looking at what's available in academia in terms of research. So you go on Google Scholar, you type in a lot of the keywords that your experiment is around, and you see what researchers have previously done. And based on the research question that was being asked, like I would basically go into Python and code, and try and see if I can replicate what experiments they were talking about.
Okay.
The thing that I found was that a lot of it was thinking. So it wasn't like, oh, I start at 9 a.m., I finish at 5 p.m. It wasn't like that, because
Okay.
research is not like that. There's periods of time your brain just goes blank, and you'll need a break. So sometimes you'll find that maybe you're stuck on a coding problem and it comes to you at like 7 p.m. at night, or just as you're about to go to bed. So depending on different internship experiences, I know a lot of the business internships are very structured from 9 to 5. but my experience wasn't that structured, and my professors, because they're researchers as well, they know that's not how research works. So I had a lot of flexibility.
Okay, and you started interning there as soon as the pandemic started. So how did you feel when that happened?
So I started interning. Like, what do you mean the program? Like, you mean the internship program or
Yeah,
my?
you mentioned it was like it started in April 2020, and
Right,
that was around when the pandemic started, like everyone went into lockdown. So was that hard?
right. So, um, what can I say? I do, it wasn't, it was hard initially. It was hard because we would have group meetings and everyone would just be talking and I
Mhm.
wouldn't know who to pay attention to, or like I felt like the pace of the meetings was like very fast, and it was hard for me to keep up with in terms of notes and stuff. But slowly that became easier, and especially when they started recording their meetings, I could go back and like re-reference those notes, or like the meetings, and make my own notes.
Mhm.
But in terms of like working like environments, um I didn't feel like it was that different because my professors made it a point to be very available. So if I had any questions, I could email them and they would get back to me like within the same day, right?
Okay.
Or if I like, because I knew they were busy, what I would do is I would bunch up like I would batch the questions and then ask to meet them for like an hour or 30 minutes at the end of the week or next week or something like that. And so what like, I did have to be pretty proactive in like when I asked for help, because they were like, it's not like they could just look over my shoulders. Unless I told them what was happening, they wouldn't possibly know what was happening.
Yeah.
So in terms of letting them know what was happening, where I am with my progress, if I needed help or not, that was really up to me.
Oh,
I
okay.
had to be more proactive. Yeah.
So linking to that, were you not provided with any training or?
Right. No, for me, I didn't exactly have any formal training. Um, what I did have was, because the research part was so new, I took something called a reading course with my supervisor, which is basically, it's a one-on-one course where he tells you what chapters to read or what articles to read, and then you basically synthesize the material and give a presentation on it so that he can see how far along you are on your
Mhm.
like how far along you are and how well you understand the material. So it wasn't something like a formal training of like, this is how you do research, this is what programming language you're going to be using. It was like less structured, but in terms of guidance and help, um, it was mostly in terms of this is what you have to do. Let me know if you have any questions.
Mhm. And how did you maintain a work-life balance?
Ooh. That so I would I would say that it was difficult to maintain a
Mm.
work-life balance. Um, it's easy. It was easy for me to maintain a work-life balance when I was in school, like in terms of like going to a physical
Yeah.
building and then coming back. But when the pandemic started, I think for the first, I think the entire year actually, from like that first entire year, I don't think I exactly had a work life balance. I felt like I was working all the time just because there was no change in environment. I was in my room
Yeah.
when it was break time. I was in my room when I was working. I was in my room when I was sleeping, right? So I didn't feel like I didn't feel like I did like a good job of maintaining my work life balance in the first year of my internship. But I think slowly, as I started getting a little bit burnt out, I realized that it's important for me to take these breaks, and that I was actually doing better when I did end up, for example, meeting my friends. Like sometimes my friends would message me and then I'm like, no, I'm too busy. But like later on, when I did meet up with them and have like that break from work,
Yeah.
it like I felt more energized. And when I guess my work life balance happened because I found out that I could do better work when I took a break.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a workaholic like that.
Well, you grow and you learn. So,
Yeah, exactly.
okay, so I'm actually afraid our time is up, and
Okay.
that brings us to the end of our fifth episode of Interviews. Thank you so much for taking the time and being at this interview.
Thank you again for having me.
I wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, as well as keeping up with our other social medias. You can find Leaders Fluent on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Facebook at Leaders Fluent.